And we are back. Welcome to Dream Big Tuesday here on a beautiful sunny day in April. And today I have invited a new online friend, which I have also got to know this year actually and last year. I don't know when I met this dear man, but he's actually has many amazing and cool skills apart from being a fellow artist. He's not an actor, but he's a musician, and he's a guitar lesson teacher, and he's very successful at it. He has an amazing and funny YouTube channel, so you should check out this man. That's for sure. And then he also has other things he's is implementing in his life as an online business because as he is, as I am, and online marketing now, affiliate marketing, because there is an endless ocean of niches and businesses you can do online. And today I again have beautiful weather, so I'm very, very happy and fortunate. This is my garden, just to show you that. And we have one viewer that might be who we have. Oh, thank you. It's Musa. Thank you, Musa, for showing up today. Um, I'm broadcasting live to my. I have a page on here on Facebook called Ramadan Backpacker. That's the name of my documentary, which I have been working on for many years. But that's for another talk. I will talk about that another day, because today it's about meeting Matt Simon, and what he has to offer and what his life experience is. And I'm waiting for him to connect. We had some technical issues, as we can always experience on these kind of lives, but it's fine. We work around it, right? Here he is. Hey,
Hello,
Matt.
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Loud and clear, bro. How you
All
doing?
right. Yeah, just the laptop, the camera was not working, and the
That's
sound,
all
no,
right.
it just wanted to die.
Awesome.
Fun
I
times.
just did a short introduction of you, but I mean that's better coming from your own mouth. Who are you, briefly?
Who am I? Well,
And
yes, my name is Matt Simon. Originally trained as a musician, so I was doing that for a long time. I went to Guitar College in London. Did the broke musician cliche for quite some time. Then worked on cruise ships for about 8 years. That got cancelled with COVID because we were on board when it all struck. And then obviously everyone had to like reinvent themselves after that or like pick themselves up. So doing a bit more musician stuff and now just working on a few more business things as well. So always lots of hands in lots of different pies, fingers in pies, so to speak.
cool. And you're based in London, right? You're in the UK.
Near that, I was, yeah, Nottingham. So it's about 2 hours drive
Nottingham.
or
Sorry,
4 hours with
Nottingham.
the bad traffic.
Love the UK, man. London. Been there many times. Not Nottingham, but I'll come see you very soon. I hope.
Yeah, it's
So,
Amit's based not too far from here. So yeah, there's
yeah,
lots of people we know. I used to live with Tommy in London actually, many years back. So
yeah, and your friend I
that's
met
where I know him
through
from.
through Tommy. Tommy, yes, you're a fellow musician with him, right? You play in a band with him, right?
Not really. He was friends with Dan, so I met him through Dan, and
Oh, okay.
we lived together
Mm,
for a while. So then, yeah, we lived for about 3 or 4 years as music peasants in London, and
mm,
yes, that was fun. Then he moved to I think it was Ireland after that.
mm. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and yeah, you had an interesting story, right? And I always love to meet other artists, and we are all artists, right? Being creative. So thank you for introduction, and I always want to ask my guests, and thank you for coming on. I should say that firstly.
Pleasure.
What's your why? Why would you go online, and why would you promote whatever you're doing, or believe in whatever you're doing, and what is your passions?
You have to be online now, and since I started, like many industries, the music industry has completely turned upside down. The business model in the 80s, although I was not that old that I was doing so in the 80s professionally, Like you get a record deal, you'd sign, and then you go touring, and it would be sort of they give you the money up front, but it's in advance, so then you have to pay all the money back, and there's funding, but only if you're really successful. Then internet came along, and lots of things moved online, and to the point now where you can do everything at home. You can be a graphics designer, a music producer, a home studio. So you can, but then the challenge there is promotion because you're one of a million voices. So you can shout as loud as you want, but promotion is key really in any industry. So you do need that. Um, so there's unprecedented opportunity, but also unprecedented competition because like everyone with a laptop and a guitar, oh look, here's my album. you know, so
Exactly.
not only if you've got
True.
to have something of real value and be consistent with it, which I haven't always, you've got to promote it as well. And realistically, you've got to spend as much time promoting it as you have doing it. AI helps a lot with that, but you you have to wear so many different hats. It feels like you're diluting what you're doing because you can do all these things. Oh, great! I can sort out the graphic design. I can do this, but then it means I'm playing less and less music.
Hmm.
Um, which is difficult, but it's just what it is. And then only maybe to the point where you can outsource it, that you can then spend more time doing music. So you could pay someone in a different country who's living with lower living expenses to do things for you as a VA, like a virtual assistant. Um, but now with AI, you can get a lot more leverage through what you're doing. It can use and content creation is a big thing right now because I've got to get more content out, but then you don't want to dilute it and just be just chucking stuff out for the sake of it. Um, you used to be
Hmm.
living like, all right, I want to create the best art or whatever I'm doing, but now you're thinking, oh, I've got to do the algorithm, I've got to work out this, and it's difficult. And I'm not complaining about it. It's just the way the things are. You've just got to be up on it, and if you're not, you will be left behind. So you've got to
True.
constantly learn. You've got to learn all the skills relative to your industry, and then you've got to learn basically the promotional things. But then you can work from home essentially if you build up the momentum.
Hmm.
Although it is nice to get out there and see real people, but it is possible to do it yourself. So it's trying to find a way out the 9 to 5, to get yourself out there. But you don't want to be a slave to it as well. Although you have to grind to start with, because then it just becomes a new 9 to 5 or a new like 8 in the morning till 2 in the morning. So it's because you can always do more,
Exactly.
and it's hard to get out of that trap to like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I haven't got to where I want to be. Maybe it's not working hard enough. So you've got to work smart and hard, but try and get some
Hmm.
work-life balance, which is almost impossible. So yeah, I'm sure that echoes the thoughts of many people around the world trying to forge their own path. They're like, oh, it is possible, but then it's not easy climbing up the mountain.
It's never easy, and you need to climb the mountain still. And are we really complaining though? I'm thinking we are more being constructive criticism. I love this saying or this word, right? Because we are really just want to change or make things better, because it's always needed to do some changes. And mostly in Sweden, they have a really saying in-house office, which I hear a lot. Now I've been living in Sweden for almost 15 years, and working here is different than Denmark and Norway, where I grew up in Norway. I'm Danish originally, so I work in all three nations now, and it's very different how they think. Doesn't matter if they're an artist or academic, but they say a lot like, "Why change it if it's working?" Or it's the same saying as, "Why fix it if it ain't broke?" Right?
Yeah,
But sometimes you can make it better because we don't really follow the times in the old ways. Things, you know, how things are done in the office, let's say, because you can always improve. That's what I think Apple and Google, all these companies, big companies, did to stand out, right? Or Lego, which are big Danish brand, right?
yeah,
And working for them. So, what do you think about that? Do you have anything thoughts about that? How it
yeah. I think
works
that
in the
each generation
UK?
will improve on the next generation, regardless of location. The next generation will
Mm,
be better. They'll be more adapted. There'll be better tools available that they'll be able to leverage more. So
mm,
just using guitar playing as an example, before you had to like get a book from somewhere and it had the music written out and you could learn it, listen to the CD, maybe get a local teacher. But now
mm,
with so much stuff online, especially YouTube, all these tuition things, and kids can get really good really quickly. We're not just talking like tiger mums in China like forcing piano prodigies at a prepubescent age. Like, you have access to so much more information, um,
mm,
that you can get better so quickly. Like,
mm,
technique wise, seems to it's people are struggling to develop new ideas. There are some people pushing that, but they're so much better already. So then they're going to be better than the players now because they'll have had the benefit of their knowledge at an early age. And I'm sure with so many other
mm,
industries that everyone is just getting better and better, which is great. And because we can build on what came before us, and the people coming after will build on what we've done. So you
mm.
do your best, but then you've got to take your ego out of it because you will be surpassed either by a robot or some kid with a really good internet connection. That just will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, ego is always something you have to overcome. I mean, as an actor, it's like, oh my god, yeah, it's first 10, 15 years just like scraping the surface and getting
Yeah,
off the ego, what to say, ego ladder. Um, and once you find those collaborators, like I know you and Tommy go way back, and I go way back with certain acting friends I have now, maybe two or three. And how did I get started? It's like, but we have like a long journey together in different projects. I think it's similar for musicians as well, um, because you learn so much other than playing music together. You're
yeah.
always following each other's path, right? And you become a friend and stand by in difficult
I
times as
think
well.
also, but facing a
Yeah,
lot of rejection in your early life and just being
yeah,
kicked in the balls a
exactly.
lot.
Yeah,
You just, I heard a saying that was like, you need an ego when you get on stage, but then best not to have one off stage because you do need to perform and people want to see you doing something that they can't do because like you're showing something extraordinary and they want to show.
mm,
And I was never into grunge music. I understand why it happens in a reaction to like the sort of pomp of the glam metal and the stuff that I just really liked. But for me,
mm,
looking at the sort of super stripped down, like, oh, I'm just wearing a flannel shirt and crap jeans, I'm like, it's not really a performance in the same way. Like, obviously, people like some people ever, but and the guitar solos. So I need, for me, like some sort of level of technical ability and also some performance because you want to see something extraordinary.
mm, yeah. True, and you're also doing something very interesting, which I caught my eye. And Tommy, he talked about you and promoted your other side skill, or what I call side hustle, what they call a lot of people doing business, TikTok and stuff like that, other platforms. Like you're very much into accounting and billing,
N-
or
Not
with numbers, which I
necessarily. It's
really.
I was quite well. I was quite business resistant in college because we were it's just independent and we were taught a bit of the business, but it's changed so much anyway now. But it seems to be
Mm,
something I can do fairly well. I could put spreadsheets together for myself or like certain small projects. And now I'm really trying to move it up a level. Because a friend of mine asked me to do one for his book selling business, which I managed, and it was quite difficult. There's some programming involved. And then
mm,
I just expanded that into because a lot of people do their own taxes if they're self-employed, and it's
mm,
quite often myself have been like quite like a scrapbook, like just like an absolute mess. But then did it as much as I could. I've used AI to learn a lot about it as well. Called an expert for a bit of help to polish the edges off, and then now
yeah,
it's a good level where I can offer it because I was looking around some of the competition and some people they've been like doing spreadsheets for years and it's all like super fancy, but I think some of those can be too much. Either you're really into that kind of thing and you want to go like super deep and have like pages and pages and pages of stuff, or I think what'd be good is not like sort of entry level, but like just a bit higher up. So like this will save you time. It's easy to use and it's not too much. Because as you get older, time is more and more important because you literally have less of it left every day. But you value a lot more because when you're younger, you are time rich, money poor. But then as you get older, especially as you become more interested in business, you see how much your time is worth. And relating
mm,
that to an hourly wage, you think, well, I used to be like X amount per hour, but then just realizing it's quite a big lesson for me. Like if you're earning even like $20 an hour, and there's a task that you could pay someone $10 an hour to, if you don't do that, you're losing $10 an hour. So putting a value on your time, and a lot of people like you and Tommy know who are affiliate marketers who are really, really crushing it. They would value their time quite highly, so then they'll pay other people to do the service. But just realizing, well, if something can save you time, it can save you money, obviously, because you could be earning that money elsewhere, or also you could be trying to claw back some work-life balance. Like, okay, I don't need to spend 5 hours doing that. I can do it in 10 minutes. Then I can spend some time with the family, or just anything else, like scrape time for a hobby or something that's not work-related. So you're clawing back that time. So when you're selling someone a service or a product, you're usually giving them time back. Like if you're doing your accounts, fixing the car, like delivery for food, you're getting your time back, and it's only really as you get older and be more focused on things that you realize how important that is.
So it's automated, this spreadsheet, or
Most of
if
it,
you
yeah.
wanted to.
So yeah, so I've
Okay,
got different
awesome.
ones. There's some music ones where you just type in how far you drove, and it says your tax return, petrol claim back. And the other ones, you type in what you spent money on, where the money come in, and that's it. It'll give you reports for the year and tell you like what you spent, how much you spent in different areas, and at the end it'll spit out your tax figures. So in the UK, for HMRC, like the revenue customs, you can type in a breakdown, or just like how much I earned, this much, how much to my expenses, this much, petrol, this much, and just put those in. So in the past I'd done quite badly laid out spreadsheets and like put all that stuff together, but now you type it in and it's a running total as well, and it goes over a few
Wow.
years, so you can keep the total going. You could start this today and use it for the next 10 years, and then just pull out the information that you need, and then say, what's the tax report for this year? This much. Okay, next year, there you go. So you can either download that and pay a very small fee on that and do it yourself, or I can offer, like with the team, we'll just do the input for you as well. So just give us your balance sheet or your expenses or your credit card statements, we'll chuck it in, and then you get a running total. It's already calculated, so you can spend more important time doing the important things on your business, like running it, growing it, earning the money, rather than doing the kind of donkey work. Oh, I've got to do that, and it's a
Creativity
hassle.
is number one, right?
It takes up
Yeah.
some mental space as well. And one of the things I really value right now is headspace, because if I don't have to think about something, I can be more focused on other things.
So is
So if
this
that's out of your mind,
spreadsheet? Yeah. Sorry, what you saying?
no, so carry on. Oh yeah,
No,
so
is the spreadsheet for artists or is it for musicians only? I can see on your website, which I can put in here. I'm just
yeah,
share that
so
one.
there's one specifically for musicians, and so that one has got the petrol allowance in there as well, because it's a big
And I
expense,
use it
because I
as
spend.
a, yeah. Could I use it as a
Yes.
you're a filmmaker as well when I go to do some shows? Here's the website. I put it there. It's correct.
Yeah, so I've got one that's will be uploaded today, which is dedicated to like a solopreneur, like a single business owner. So it's a sort of more of a blank canvas template. So again, your expenses, your income, and then the back of it, there's some extra sheets, so you can analyze your expenses and your income. Because what's quite easy to lose track of is expenses, especially in this kind of thing. You might have software licenses, things that you're paying for every month, and you don't realize, like, oh, right, I didn't realize.
Good.
Tommy boy.
Hey, boys. Tommy boys
So
in
you
the
don't realize
house. Thank you
I'm
for that.
spending X amount every month on this. So it's an analysis tool, and it'll do taxes as well. And then if you've done it over multiple years, then you can look back and say, well, how much was I spending on this, or how much software was I spending, or over the summer, what happened? Why did my profits go down? Well, here's all the expenses broken down, and it's really easy to manipulate that. So it's a powerful tool that's got very little user requirement skill. Type the numbers in, press the button, it's done.
So do you need to be you're creating content, right? This content creation together with you do music lessons on your YouTube channel, correct? Also. and
Some, yeah,
combine
it's not
those
enough time in the day.
two things you're doing. Yeah, true. It's always a challenge, but this spreadsheet obviously take care of the finance
Well,
area.
was it Evan that you had on recently? It
Who?
said
Sorry,
was it Evan? Was it? I hope I don't get the
Evan.
name
Yeah,
wrong.
Evan. Yeah, yes, Evan. It's
Yeah, so
correct.
he
Yeah,
said,
I had him.
yeah, take care of your expenses, and then you can work on your mission. So what you don't want in your
Mm,
life is just to always be chasing the bills and always be like, oh, I've got to pay this, and then you focus on that and not doing what you really should be doing. So it's a lot to learn. You've got to change your whole mindset and your focus. Because again, a lot
mm,
of creative people can be like, oh, I just want to do my art, or I just want to paint. And like, great if you can sell it, or if you've got a YouTube channel that has you like time lapse with all your paintings and you've built up a following. But even that still takes work. You got to set the camera up, make sure you've done it, and work around that, and just create the content and just throw it out there. And so if there is some programs like Opus was quite a good one that cuts your content into chunks for shorts, because that can save you time, and then you're feeding the algorithm beast without really having to feed it. So you're keeping things moving while you're still creating, but it becomes a new grind in itself, because then if you do your hobby or your passion too much, the passion can wear away. Because I've done things like where I've worked on cruise ships, and you play, I don't want to sound like I'm whining, but like you play music like every single day for months and months at a time, and it's often the same music, and the
yeah,
audience isn't as appreciative, so you get quite numb to it or bored with it, because and you don't look forward to it. You look forward to the end, or like, we'll have a drink after this. And on cruise ships, people can drink a lot because they just get really bored, and the musicians have a lot of time off during the day, so
yeah. Tell
you
me
can end
about
up
it.
drinking like crazy amounts because you're not working so much during the day. You can A bottle of wine a night is like nothing, and then
Yeah.
you'll have something afterwards. So you can fall into this pattern where you started doing what you enjoy and then you just don't enjoy it anymore.
Mm.
So, and I'm
But
sure a
that's
lot of
always
creative
something
people
when
have
we're doing. Yeah,
that.
yeah, we do something. It's kind of mainstream what you're telling, right? It's the same for actors. So they do a TV show, or they're like a couple of years, right? So they get into it. Of course, it's good pay, right? You're getting paid for your art, but if it's just mundane, right? It's like just autopilot, and there's no creative challenges. And I watched an interview recently with Nicolas Cage on one of tonight's shows, and we all think about these amazing movies he made, and I think it was Stephen Colbert, right, in America, asking him, that what's your favorite movies on top of your head, and he didn't mention any of the big ones like Face Off or the ones that I love, right? And he said
Yeah,
all these independent films because that's where he really worked with a director who was very passionate, like we're talking about right now as artists. Like, he wanted to create this movie, very low budget, and he could act on different notes that he's never done before. And all these films some of them I haven't seen yet, which he's made in recent years. And that's the same. That's also what I want to do, right? We want to create some kind of legacy, or movies and music tracks like will go on to live forever, right? So, or
yeah, because you want to
fun
create
short
something
film.
new, because
Yeah, yeah.
things can be very sanitized for the big budget entertainment. They've put a lot of money in and they have to get a lot of money back. Like, I get that, but then it can be quite sanitary and just, well, this is the basic thing that'll
Mm,
work. Chuck some CGI at it, get the latest hit single, because that will push the algorithm on social media more for the promotion. So whereas, yeah, if it's more independent thing, you want it to be successful, obviously, but then you're not restrained as much by the financial constraints. You think, well, this is the best thing we want to do, and we want to do something unusual and create something that hasn't been done before. Whereas like the more
mm,
commercial things, it's just kind of like rolling out the same stuff because I know it'll work. Like, oh, we got X amount return, and that's the focus, not making it the best thing that it can be, because they can't
mm,
do that. If they're chucking like 300 million, like a Marvel film, whereas the CGI budget for a Marvel film can be about $350 million, which is insane. But they've got that as just like a starting
yeah,
point plus all their other overheads. So it has to be $1 billion movie, otherwise it's a flop.
yeah.
So you're
Exactly.
thinking along the
That's
wrong
what
lines for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tommy says he wants to see your spreadsheet. I mean, it's finance is so important, right? And we should have someone like you. And I just love that we already talked, right, about setting up for my own business mostly I'm gonna films, obviously, and when I invoice somebody for an acting job, it's so much you control more yourself. You become your own business, so to say. It's important to
Yeah,
know those numbers, and it's a good lesson to learn. You just need to learn it and then leave it to the software, right? Or usually in the old days, the accountant would take care of it if you could trust
yeah,
them. That's the other thing, right? So now
yeah.
you
Some
can do it yourself.
yeah, some
Mm,
friends of mine recently were using. I won't say the name, but a local accounting guy, and he like, basically took the money and run. Like he's in a different country now. So yeah,
yeah.
you can't always
Okay.
trust people, but
Mm,
this allows you to either do it yourself very easy, or like we can help out because
mm,
so the service we're offering is that you're getting your time back, and then
mm.
you don't have to worry about things, which is then you can focus on the important things.
Exactly. Because you talk about this before the live here that um, time is the real currency, right? And I also have that when I apply any job, and I live here in Sweden, right? So I have the option to go to Denmark and work any kind of job. I've been in many professions as a side job just to finance my dreams, right? As you also say,
Yeah,
are your passions. But I just that calculation in itself, first the top of my head is the expense that I will pay to go to work, and that's usually higher than the hourly rate or the monthly rate, let's say, most of the time. Then again, Danish krona is much higher than Swedish, so I get a little bit more, but still, the time that you wasted, commuted, sorry, is really need to add up to what you're getting out of it, kind of, and it's time and money,
yeah.
right?
Like
And
when gigs come in for
so that's
musicians, you look at the
mm,
information, you're like, where is it? What is it? How much am I getting paid? Because yeah, if it's a good
mm,
gig, good money. But then if I've got to drive 3 hours there, 3 hours back,
what
it's
is
the
it? How
time
much I'm getting paid? Mm,
and the expense of doing that. So it's yeah, it's really important. You've got to weigh all that off.
exactly. So, what would you say? I know you're passionate about many things, and I look at the YouTube channel, and you have like an awesome arsenal of funny stuff you made. What are you
So
most proud of made so far in your career as a musician?
some of
Or
the interesting, yeah, some of the solo records that I did, and so I had a band called Indigos, which is melodic prog metals type stuff. But and you've got to have a tagline like, what does it sound like? So we'd say it sounds like Megadeth meets Sting because the two big influences. So it's some heavy metal, but also like some more sort of jazzy sensibilities and like focus on the good lyrics and finding where their actual crossover is. And
mm,
then the instrumental album I did called Space Alchemy. Um, Even the songwriting, I didn't even think I need choruses. I just want the crazy guitar solos and all the bits together, just as it is.
mm,
So that's never going to sell. It's never going to make money. But then having that mentality thrown out the window, I can just do exactly what I want on it and just write some crazy
mm,
stuff. So that's cool. And then I did a film called The Road to Cage, which about 300 people have watched, and someone that was paid clicks. But there's a music composer called John Cage, and he wrote a completely quiet piece of music called 433, and it's split into three
okay.
movements. And so there's literally no music. It's the performer just sits there and then sort of spends 4.5 minutes with the audience not playing, and it's about the sort of interaction, the vibe, and it can feel a bit awkward and tense. But even that, you get an emotional sort of payoff from it because there's something happening, even though it's not. But you come away feeling something from
Mm.
that. So I did a Spinal Tap documentary, like fake documentary of me getting ready to do the performance of like no
Ah,
music. So um, and I couldn't keep it down to like exactly 4 minutes 33, like the behind the scenes bit. But it's me sort of getting ready and like getting like nervous, like, oh, I've got to like learn it properly, but it's blank, and then, oh, what should I
mm,
perform it on? Because I'm a better guitar player than I'm piano player, so should I do the silent music on a guitar? And all these kind of like jokes about the stress of getting ready. And then I actually did the performance live in a park locally here. So I
mm,
just sat there and but then it was interesting for me because the time sort of stretches. There's three movements, and like one of them is a bit longer than the other. So you just sit there for 2 minutes, not
mm,
performing, but you still are, and you're still aware of what's going on, and you're feeling things, and someone watching it could be feeling things things like, oh, who is this a-hole? What is he doing? Like, oh, this is quite interesting. So still something is happening, even though nothing is happening. So I thought it was quite an interesting concept, and then did this like fake sort of documentary of me getting ready for that. So I'm quite proud of that because there's a lot of sort of subtle things in there, and like subtle jokes. And if you kind of get the joke that it is, I think that's quite. I think it's quite clever. But I put a lot of time and effort into that to make something that was like with no commercial aim or gain, just to make something just purely quality on its own. So, but yeah, I'll send you a link to that. So that was hopefully
Yeah.
you get the joke and like see I'm kind of getting stressed getting ready for it, and then like stuff goes wrong all the time, and then yeah, I won't sort of spawn all the jokes, but it's like this kind of like, oh, it's gone wrong, how am I going to handle that? So
Yeah.
yeah, and I was going to do it in a church, but then end up just having to sit in a park do it, like real people were walking past like while we were filming it.
Yeah.
So they
But
just saw me sitting in a
mockumentary,
chair.
exactly. Mockumentary is the best thing that I love from filmmaking and TV from the UK, right? Because you're so good at it. The satirical part, right? It's like just watch Ricky Gervais, The Office. It's
Yeah,
then they copy it here, in other places in Europe or America, right? It's not the same thing. It's just fun to play around with it. Yeah, and the most thing I'm proud of is also the things that I did for free, basically, back in the day, theater performances, and that was mostly comedy involved. Having fun, I will like to just talk briefly about that, how it's important to have fun in the journey, not just think about the paycheck you can get from the acting gig or the musician gig,
yeah,
right? Because why are we really there? Because we love being creative, right? And I love to talk to other creative artists, and it's a big part of you. I can feel, as it is for Tommy as well.
yeah.
We talk a lot about that.
I love to put the humor in as well, because like a lot of people who release a solo instrumental guitar album, like you've got to have the humor in it because hardly anyone's going to be listening to it anyway. Like you might as
Yeah.
well have some fun because it doesn't matter what it's called.
Mhm.
Like you can have some guy who's like Johnny Lightning, like Crystal Visions, my guitar solo album. Like nobody cares. But just have something like fun with it because you can, and it makes it a bit more interesting as well because you can. Yeah, there's a time for being quite serious and really focus on something like, all right, this is a really emotional bit that we have to like properly create that, but then just have fun with it as well because I think a lot of the best people do have that humor in what they do,
Mm.
or at least some element you can see that they enjoy it and they're not just sort of slaving to the minutiae of it.
Mm. And I also got to know that you worked on cruise ships, right? So would you say you're like a world traveler as well, performing
Yeah,
around the world? How many countries have you been in, by the way? I'm curious now.
it's like yes and no because like you are traveling the world performing, but then you're on a ship and like the ship might have say 7 or 8 different venues around the ship. So technically, yeah, like you were in Barcelona today and like you'll be in Lisbon tomorrow, but you're still like kind of like on the back deck or in the bar on deck 4. So sometimes, yeah, it was cool because we'd be playing outside on the deck and you could see like, oh, you're in the Caribbean or you could see those things. But other times you might be just at sea and then all you can see around you is just the sea. And then, yeah, oh, like we're playing in the Atlantic Ocean. Like, but you get to travel and see other places. So we did do a world cruise as well, which was really cool. So lots of memories on that and just unusual things. Like there's one, there's a glacier and some of the crew went out and hacked a bit off the glacier. So it's like 10,000-year-old ice, brought it back in a cooler. So in the crew bar, we just had like this ancient ice just for cocktails for like 3 days before it melted. So like there's like
Okay.
random stuff like that that you'd never get to experience otherwise, as well as the boredom of playing the same music every day. But yeah, I made some really good friends. There's some really cool people, some really not as cool people, but as a life experience, it was great. And having to perform so much, you builds up your stamina. Because before I was like, oh, 2 or 3 gigs a week, busy week. But then, yeah, you're not driving to work every day because you're on a ship, but you perform 7 days a week a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
it really pushes up your stamina and you get the reps in. So that was very useful as well.
So would you say you got the discipline going in that way and sticking with your art? Because I know a lot of artists who just quit completely from acting because It never panned out. And I always say, my honest opinion is then you were never an artist from the beginning, because I've been an actor since I was 12 or something like that. I always knew I was going to touch back on it, even if I had like a 5 year break or something. But it's always going on your mind. Do you have the same feeling with the music and you need to create like an urge or a calling, so
Yeah,
to
I
say?
mean, with the cruise stuff, you get used to it, and then you're like, oh, this is a lot of performing. We've got to do like a few hours a night every night. So you get into
Mm,
that groove, and then that becomes easy, and then you can become bored, and then it's up to you what you want to do with your time, because you generally have a lot more time than the rest of the crew. So I'd go to the gym a lot. I was quite disciplined with that. Um,
yeah.
some people would just drink a lot and fall into alcoholism. After a while, then I was like, well, I've got time. I might as well just use it creatively and do some things. So it can be very easy not to pursue what you're doing. It kind of takes the point where you sort of bored of your environment that you then want to do more. Like some people who've been on the ships for years would not even get off the ship in port. Some of the drummers wouldn't be able to practice during the day. So if everyone's off during the afternoon, they go and like get some practice in and then really build up their
Mm,
skills. Or they might be, oh, I'm away from home for the family again, not enjoying the job as much, but then I can get a lot of practice done, a lot of work done there. So it takes a lot of discipline to do that. Um,
yeah.
I think I probably had more at college because I had to do a lot of work and I had a hand injury, so I stopped playing for about 4 months,
Yeah.
and then I had to catch up. I was playing 8 hours a day just to catch up, so I didn't skip a year on the degree. So I think I had more
And
discipline
how did you
then.
make money? Yeah, how did you make money in those times? You were playing on the cruise ships, and you were playing
Oh no,
eight
that
hours
was
a day,
just no.
or
Actually, Tommy was on a cruise ship at that point, but it's just student loan, like student finance. So it was the summer
mm,
holidays, and so I just had enough money just to kind of skim over to the next payment came in. Um,
okay.
and actually, we
So
had
you
a
had
guy
like
come in and do a session, and he
mm,
said, "Here's some advice. Like, you will never have this amount of time again to practice when you're a student.
okay.
So get it in now." And that's really good advice because I did a lot, and then that gave me a very good base level of technique. That if you practice, yeah, the edge dulls a little bit, but you can get it back pretty quickly. And that, just having that skill there to draw on
Mm,
to come back. So I'm really glad that I did that because it's one aspect of my playing that I do have like quite a high level of technical skill in certain styles. So then I can call on that when I need to as
mm.
a just something that I can do. But that doesn't come without a lot of discipline. And when I was practicing, sometimes I wanted to throw the guitar out the window and finish like the 8 hour session. Like, right, I'm done. But just got to force it because it's
Oh my
better than not
god,
doing
yeah.
it.
We have the same for actors. We just want to throw the script out the window or burn it in the end. I mean, it's left on the in the studio, right? The editing floor, right? That's where the movie, in the end, the product comes. And same in a recording studio, right?
Yeah,
And track comes in different layers. And same with a manuscript in a movie or TV show. It's like the editor has final say, right? And most of the time is that the director is, same guy. And
yeah,
it's I always want to be both, and yeah, from kind of in front of camera, because I want full control, right? I wouldn't say I'm obsessed, but I want to. You have a vision of something you created, and you wanted to at least find that what you dreamt about. And sometimes it becomes better because I work with you or Tommy or some other person that comes in that I could never think about, and they give their own spice to it, and that's
yeah,
that's an amazing creative process, right? And then it becomes much better. So
yeah. I mean,
you experience
editing
that as
is
well?
yeah, editing is
Yeah.
essential, but I hate it. Especially with digital recording now because you can do the same guitar
Right.
solo 300 times and then you might spend hours working on it, come back the next day, and you've saved like maybe the best four from that session. And you listen to all of them, you're like,
Okay.
they're all fine. What was I thinking about? And so you can get so
Yeah.
bogged down in that detail that
Mm,
it you never finish. So my production skills aren't to professional level. So what I will do is when I'm recording, I'll edit it. So I'll get all the bits in
okay.
place, then give it to someone else to polish to produce it. And
Mm,
then that is one of the real joys because you send off. It sounds pretty much what you'd imagined in your head, like all the bits are in place. I
okay.
played that line right, and all the structure is there. Then they send it back, and it's more polished, and it sounds better than you could imagined. And that is one of the real
Mm,
joys I've had through recording, just hearing someone else polish it, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Like I hoped it sounded like this good, and now we've got up here. So it's necessary. And yeah, editing like the video stuff that I've done, like it took ages. It's got to be done. Otherwise, if someone else does it, it's not quite what you wanted. And yeah, it's the video stuff. I'm quite new to editing that, but like this mockumentary, like I've had to edit it. Like, what's the length of it? What's the pacing of it? And that affects the feel of it. So if someone else edited it, it'll be a completely different film.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'm thinking back to the spreadsheet. Where can we find it apart from the webpage? How do we sign up? Or
yeah, so easytimesavers.com is their forwarding address to the website. There's digital downloads available. There's some musician ones for free, and I'll today be uploading the small business ones as well. So contact me directly, or I'll be posting quite a lot in the near future for that. And I've got some stuff on YouTube as well, so I'll be sending links out to that.
Cool, awesome. Well, thank you, Matt, for coming on. It was awesome to get to know you more, and all your skills and your story is very interesting. I think a lot of people can benefit from that, because I always benefit from connecting with other artists in different ways. So, and do you have any final notes, some anecdotes, or something you want to share to the audience?
Yeah, I think you can still find MattSimonGuitar.com is the website. Look at me on YouTube. I've got lots of stuff on there. And got a podcast as well, which is called Hearing in Color.
Cool.
So that's about how some people, the senses are crossed, and so I see music as sound, but also colors. And then I've talked to people who their sensory perception of things are quite different to the normal ones. So Hearing in Color, you can find that Spotify, all the regular places, and look me up on YouTube, and contact me, and I'll be promoting this quite a lot. So you probably get bored of it. Like, oh, there's more stuff. I need to do more, because there's no point doing something and not thinking about it.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna see if I found your. Yeah. So what's your you're doing the guitar lessons? What's the name of that channel? Or as Matt Simon here on YouTube, I found it now. This one. It's called Guitars. Is that correct? What's this one? I'm just checking it on the URL here.
Yeah. So that has MattSimonGuitar.com has all the links. The Instagram handles Matt Simon Guitar, so it's all on there. Yeah,
this one links to your page.
That's the one. Yeah,
and there you can see, and then you can also see everything about, or most of the ones you put out about the spreadsheet as well, how to do. Yeah, and Simon is explaining Matt is explaining in very short videos, because it's.
I'll put all the links.
I think you need
descriptions as well. Yeah, and it's all there, clickable.
Awesome, brother. Thank you for
thanks for having me on
today. So, no worries. And see you next time. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Enjoy, brother. Bye-bye.